Welcome back to Beskidy. We are in the woods and attempting to haul some logs. As you can see, we've done a little off cam and we're making some decent money. I mean, I appreciate that each time I haul a load down there, it generates some decent income. So we're kind of in the same little grove of trees where we started off our logging escapades a few episodes ago. And we've pretty well cut all the trees in here that are cuttable. And I'll say again, I appreciate that there are a number of trees in here that we're not able to cut. It sort of leaves in place the ambiance that we have kind of on the map. But at some point, obviously, we need to take care of these stumps and do the responsible thing and replant. Now, last time, you guys are seeing some of the hiccups that can happen with a script. Last time, I think there was a conflict with a load securing script. Actually, let me try to get over here. It's a type of a trigger sitting right here in the belly of this trailer, and when logs are in there, the logs are secured if they are sitting in there. And then we also added on top of it, as everybody knows, this log loading and unloading script. And I was noticing some problems, some things hitting the log. I've now hauled, well, look at that. I'm seeing that thing come up again. And I'm wondering, you'll have to take my word for it. There were several loads hauled where it wasn't popping any zooming in and out. Let me see if up here if it's anything to do at all with the script that we wrote and put on there. Yeah, all of these seem to be with security. I think what it's doing is it has something to do with moving while loading or unloading. And if you are moving, it will let you unload, it'll let you load, but it starts running into problems. Let me just take you out of game real quick and show you what I mean. Here we're in the load securing script. This is a script that came with the forest mod, and you notice it has something in here. This is a variable in the load section of the script that says, hey, for this trailer, the minimum secure speed is 0.0005, or it was, which means barely crawling. And I changed it to 0.01. I'm not 100% sure if this is miles per hour or just what it is. I wanted to kind of tinker with it. But where we see it having an impact is down here, an update tick. The script, this is constantly running. And so while it's running, assuming there are logs in there, and there's a trigger down there that adds logs to this table. So assuming there's logs in the belly of the trailer, then it does everything we see here. So the first thing it checks is whether the current speed or the last speed is greater than the minimum secure speed. So if it is greater, then this has a value of true, secure load. So if secure load is true, and if the load isn't currently secured, then secure it, and here it creates a whole bunch of joints, to hold it in place. If it's false, meaning you're driving really slow, well then that comes down here. If you're driving slow or stopped, and if you were previously locked, well then unlock it, unsecure the load, and then remove all these joints, that it created up here. So that's kind of what's going on. So when you're stopped, it's intended that the logs will kind of just sit in the trailer loose. So I think we run into problems if the load is secured and you're moving and then you happen to load or unload logs. So I've tried this without using the load secured. I've tried it with it, and given the distance that I'm driving and all the bumps, I think I'm better off with it versus without. The hard part is just figuring out how to live with it. It is popping something in the log, and it's going to clutter it up in there. But I've noticed that when I'm extremely careful to be all the way stopped when I'm loading and unloading, it isn't popping errors. So I just did a load before I started recording in here, and of course it's starting to kick it in the log. So I may still need to tweak the speed here. I don't know, maybe I'll go back to, I tried 0.1. The trouble is, I don't know if this is miles per hour or if it is a percentage, 10% speed. I just don't know what it is. So I'm continuing to tinker with it. We'll see if I end up having to remove it at all. Because I think if I get rid of this script entirely, then I don't have any problems at all. I also found an error in the bale attacher script, the one that's bringing the logs on, and it's hard to explain what it is, but I was doing too much here. It was grabbing every single cut log, and I think I had a distance of 1 meter. Well, by executing these particular commands up here, what it ended up doing was putting the log exactly on the point, the unload point, and so the distance was always 0, even if the log was clear across the map. So we can't do that. So I set up some other things to get the world translation. That's the coordinates of where the log is sitting on the ground, that gets the distance between the log and the unload place, and then I had it a really tight distance so that it only picks up the logs on the trailer. Worst comes to worst, it'll pick up something close to the trailer too, but it seems to be working okay. So I put that fix in here as well. But anyway, let's come back in here. I've cut a number of trees, and let me see if I can haul a load. Now, maybe let me put I'm going to put something here. I'm going to put that little XX in there. I wasn't intending a command, but that'll tell me if a new error shows up and kind of pushes it out of the way. So just one little trick thing I'll do. So I'm going to try to come up here and pause. Let me see if I have my trailer. I'm going to get there with the trigger, so I'm going to stop. Yeah. Alright, let's load a few. Oops. Come on, get in my trigger. Uh-oh. Alright, I'm having another error. Well, that's frustrating. Let me see if I can unload something. There, I'm unloading a few items. Let me see if I can load them now. Alright, that's allowing me to put them in. Yeah, I picked it up from this other tree. Let me go over close to, and it is popping an error, but it is still picking some of these up. So let me try to turn that off. Let me get over here. We'll try to get this in my trigger. There, grab that. Let me see, here's my... I gotta be careful I don't overfill the trailer too. But I'm gonna have to pursue this other... it's almost as if I was doing this for a while, I had no errors, and then it's almost as if once you do have an error, it's like the remnant of a log is somehow left. So like I say, I may have to simply, get rid of the, well, not get rid of, just deactivate the load securing. And because maybe I just can't, maybe the two scripts, just aren't going to peacefully coexist. Whoops, I must still be on loading. I intended to turn that off. Yeah, and see, I was moving right when I loaded something, so I may have just caused another problem right there with what I did, because I didn't know I had something loading. I wish it would let me see at the back end of the trailer versus front end. Alright, so I'm gonna try where I ran into problems before. Yeah, see, it's the logs are slipping toward the rear of the trailer, which I don't really... Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Well, actually, shoot. Yeah, that's not a really good area to... Let me see if I can get... Let me see if I can trade sides. What is it? U? Alright. Everybody off. I'm going to try to straighten this out a little bit. Alright. Now let me try to load them back up. Sorry, I'm kind of holding up traffic. Alright, let me turn off the loading function. I think that's off. And let's see if we can head to market. So I've noticed they kind of scooch out towards the end of the trailer. I think I am locked, so let me put it on full speed. But I feel like I gotta monitor the thing. In some ways it'd be nice to send it off with course play somehow to at least get down to the sawmill so I could, continue cutting trees. Hey, car. Don't be an annoying guy. Yeah, see, oh, look at that. See, I'm going to lose a log out the back end. This is where, it's handy to have. Oh my goodness. I think I dropped... Yeah, I dropped a toothpick. Well, let me get around this guy here. He's being annoying. Alright, let me try to back it up and I'll go pick this up. Oh, fiddle. Hopefully no cars come along. Alright, I think that's close enough probably for the trigger. I need to put something in here to get rid of the camera collisions. Oh, you're decided to go down too, so... Alright, let me try to put these up, both of them. Alright, hopefully they hang in there. Kind of got the tree in the way, can't really see. Hang on. So as long as I'm going this speed, I think it's holding on to the logs. And it's, I've tried it without the, see, there I lost another one. So I wonder if I really want to secure this load, I gotta slow the thing down again. And maybe there's just no way around it. I was trying to have the speed come up so that I was less likely to have problems, with loading and unloading. But even when I stop, I need to give it a little bit of time probably to iterate through the log table, because all of them that are in there, I think it iterates through them in order to unlock them, if you will. And maybe if I give it only just half a second, it isn't enough, for it to finish, whatever it's doing. So, I don't know. It is, we always talk about the concept of mod conflicts, and this would be one of them. I tried to write a script in the spirit of what the forest mod has, and I think it's kind of working with it. But kind of as we can see in the log, it's obviously kicking some errors. It's kicking them in the script that I wrote, and I think part of it is simply, it's almost as if part of the log has been, let's see, it's turning this corner, it wants to throw them wide. I'm gonna whack a car if I come by it. But it's almost as if a log that was previously sold, that some remnant of it is still hanging around somewheres. And so maybe I just need to tighten this back up so that it's slow speed for the unlock. Maybe I need to give it a switch. You know, it's dictated by speed, you know, that we're driving, but maybe what I could do is throw an input binding on it and get it to work that way. The hard part about an input binding, especially from a programming standpoint, is having it work in a multiplayer setting. You know, you got to write an event in order for that to work, and the way these guys did it for this load log is actually pretty clever. You know, there's no need for any events for it to happen. It just does because it's 100% done on the server, and there's no inputs, you know, by the player. But if I put a manual lock on it or a key binding, I mean, since it's just me playing, I guess I wouldn't need to code it for multiplayer. Alright, I've been coming in, and then what I do is I just kind of sidle right up beside this thing. Try to get the thing over the... close enough for government work, eh? Alright, so now it's resting. If I let it sit there just a little while. Okay, maybe now all the logs are out of its lock. Right, there's a couple. Kind of got to meter these off. Come on, get moving. And in the lower right-hand corner, you can see my cache is going, so I know. Let me put another thing in here. I'm kind of curious to see if, alright, take two at once. Curious to see if anything comes in the log while I'm unloading into the sell point. Nothing so far. Let me chuck another couple in. Yeah, so this is, I'm going to keep working with it because I'd like it to work. I think it is working. It's just got a few bugs, I think, to work through. Because, yeah, it's kicking errors in both scripts, and I know the two are somehow related. But look at that. We got another, I don't know, 10 grand close to it. Actually, let me see here. I still, nope. Nothing more to unload, so alright, let me turn off my marker, and I'm gonna head back out to the field, and I'm running empty. I will see you there, back in a bit. Alright, here we are back in the forest. Ooh, let's continue picking these up, and once again, oh, it kicks some more. Look at that. That's very interesting. This time it's the load securing. And how many of these are going in there? Yeah, it's getting quite a clutter in there. So, I'll tell you what, I'm going to save it so I don't lose any progress. I hate losing progress. Do I got a log lurking over there? I don't. So let me sneak along here. Pick up some along here. Alright. Alright, you are disobeying me. Shame on you. Alright, this is frustrating. Okay, so will it let me unload it? Okay, it does. That's interesting. Because it's close enough is probably why it let me do it. Now, I'm wondering if it after... Yeah, now it's letting me pick them up. Stay out of the way of the train. Okay, so we managed to load everything that's here. Let's turn unload or loading off. Is there one perchance stuck in this tree over here? There's kind of hard to find the toothpick tops of some of these. And I think this is the only one left to haul. Let's get that in here. Okay, it picked up the butt of the tree. Grab that. Alright, we got just one more. It's almost like it didn't let me load anything until I unloaded something, and only by virtue of the fact of it being close, you know, did it allow that. So, well, I think this clears up this particular spot, so... Alright, now, is there a way to get out of here? Is that over a slope? Almost have half a mind to see if I can go off the side over here versus driving up that hill again. Or will it let me do that is the question. Oh yeah, it'll let me ease onto the road. Not bad. Alright, that was a lot smoother than the road was. Alright, I'm not loading or unloading or anything. I'm zipping along as fast as my little Ursus will carry me. And most of these seem to be staying put, you know, so I wonder also if I need to look into the size of the trigger. Gosh, I sure wish I could see that. I'm going to have to install, whether I like it or not, the mod that stops collisions. No collision camera. And I think it would let me see the end of the trailer. But it seems to be holding them in there pretty decent now. Let me just take a look at the log. Yeah, popped a number more. It must have something to do between the two with lock and when you load or unload while moving. And how quickly the script is able to get it in and out of, you know, the table. Now, I could do a little trick. You may have noticed that in the script that I showed you, it was in the update tick section. I don't know how often update tick is called, but it isn't every single frame. I think the section of code that would be update would call every frame, so it would happen faster. Oh my goodness. Yeah, see this right here, I don't know what I hit. Was that a curb? This probably is where errors come into the log. Let me see if I can load back my mess. Is there something behind me? Nope, just these over here. And some of this, I think, is the wonky physics that are FS13. Alright, I think that's close enough to the trigger. There we go. See, I'm not the best driver as it is, and I can just imagine doing that after having painstakingly loaded every single log, you know, with a grappling hook or something, and then to spill them all over the road like that. That'd be an exercise in futile frustration. Oh man, one of these days I'm gonna hit that truck. Yeah, I still see the logs moving around a little bit, so there must be something to the speed that I don't quite understand, because I think it needs to be a much smaller number. Alright, let's see if I can take this corner without incident. Yeah, I'm thinking of removing the... Oh, hey, here's one that spilled from the last load. I guess we can pick her up when we come in here. Always room for one more. And those toothpicks are kind of hard to carry. Huh. But yeah, I'm thinking of getting rid of the load speed, or the speed where it locks, rather, and make it manual. Lock it down so that then it's locked, and maybe I can figure out a way to get the two scripts to talk to each other so that they don't conflict, and that if one detects that it's inside a particular table, that it will refuse to unload it until it knows, it's out of the table. That's got to be a way that it can be done. I just need to figure out how to code it. And I don't know if anybody watching this, if you've ever attempted to code this to try to drum out mod conflicts or whatever. I guess I'm looking for sympathy. Well, not really. It's my problem. I'm just thankful, errors or no errors, to have a means of auto-loading and hauling these things at a reasonable speed to the market without having to worry about them fly all over the map. Which, as we saw kind of on the drive here, it can and does do. Alright. Okay, it's at rest for a little bit. Stopped, not moving, so I think I can unload now. Get on in. Oop. There, I took two at the same time. Watching my cash. 91 grand. Grandpa's gonna be pleased because we should be able to make a dent. This really wasn't that many trees that we have hauled, and we've made a fair little bit of money. What I'm kind of curious is, I think there are wood chips on the other end too, and that should be another deliverable, I presume. So we could even make a bit more. $96,000. Yeah, right inside the air. If we open the building in the editor, there's a trigger. Alright, I think we're done. Let me turn off my... Love the sound effects. This is a great map indeed. While we're here, let's just take a quick drive kind of around the premises and see. I seem to recall in FS13 the spigot for the... Yeah, right over here. Aha. Okay, now, do I need to pick that up with a shovel? I wonder if I do. You know, it's interesting looking in the building across the way and looking at a lot of these 3D objects. I know I've seen those same sticks of wood in Farm Sim 15 and 17, and they probably... Oh, it's so hard to mod. You know, I don't have any skills, for example, in Blender, you know, which is a 3D model creator, or where people can do that. And I know most of GeoQ public on the street doesn't have that skill either, so you tend to look for objects that other people have made, whether in this map or others, or the one the Giants did. Alright, Give me just a second and I'll be back in the field. Hold on. Alright, we're back here, and I'm kind of surveying the area. We've cut our timber here. It's time to go cut a few more. And I'm not really liking the look of the railroad tracks over here. It's kind of a pickle to deal with. I have a notion to come into the editor and smooth this up so we can actually get across the tracks. But the tracks are a 3D object. And I kind of get hung up. The times I've driven across these right here, it looks like it's intended to be a crossing, but I don't know that it really is. But you know what? For the moment, oh, and we're running low on fuel too. For the moment, maybe before we close this episode, whoa, I'm running fast. Before we close the episode out, let me cut down a tree. Get that, make sure it's full of fuel. You know, it's interesting, it slows me down when you have a chainsaw. It's not safe to run with a chainsaw, boys and girls. Alright, so this is working great, that if I come to the right hand side, I'm going to try to get better and better at this. I think probably where I angle my bar is about where it's going to fall, so timber, let's take it down. Then we'll call this episode a wrap. Perish the thought it fell on the train tracks. Now, I wasn't aiming for this tree. I hit it right down the middle. I was intending for it to go out a little bit further. Well, anyway, let's dress it up real quick. I think I can get on board here. This seemed a whole lot easier once we got into action. Maybe if I get right down here, I think if I come alongside it, it works okay. Yeah, if you go right up alongside it, it seems to tear the branches off pretty easy. I would have never cut it that way in real life. When the log is sitting over a chasm, kind of like that, or not a chasm. It's kind of hard to see these. So helpfully marked for us. When it's sitting, when there's a low area and you know it's going to pinch on you, you would cut it from underneath. I guess I could have simulated it that way. Alright, we have another tree cut up. We have something to pick up with our handy trailer, but I'm going to call the episode here for now. Thank you so much for coming along. Hope you're enjoying Beskidy. It's a beautiful map. I'm enjoying doing a little bit of timber, and I'm particularly enjoying what it's doing to our bank account. So I can see why the opening language of Beskidy suggests that you do some timber cutting in the off season. Anyway, have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.